The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. It's time for the Low Fact Podcast. You missed your symbols, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a weak one. I should do it again.
No, please don't.
The moment has passed.
It has. So, you wanted to kind of rehash something that we were talking about a while ago, right?
What?
Well, the whole response, the accountability thing.
Oh, yeah. So, well, this is just like a continuing theme, but I'm just wondering why it is that people accommodate idiocy.
Why people accommodate idiocy?
Yeah, why do they sit there? It's like the example I always give, and I think I've said it on the podcast before, is somebody basically letting somebody else into traffic who's pulling an illegal maneuver and inconveniencing everybody else as a consequence. And they feel good about it for doing that. But they're inconveniencing everybody else. So are we supposed to just... Why do we accommodate idiotic behavior? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's actually not what we're talking about. And we could talk about what I was talking about later.
So accountability is different?
Yeah.
Different topic?
It is.
Oh.
But I think the reasoning behind it is probably the same. Well, I don't know if reasoning is the right word for it.
I'm sweating.
I think idiotic behavior is accommodated because deep down people want to be accommodated. And maybe it's not even a conscious thought.
Subconsciously they just...
Well, for people who have a misunderstanding of what karma is all about, which is kind of popular culture, karma has gone to mean... You know, you do something nice things will happen to you. You do something mean, bad things will happen to you within your lifetime. Sometimes even almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
I think that is a driving factor. It may not be conscious, but if you live in our society, in this culture, that being, late 20th century, early 21st century America, that's kind of really imbued in the popular culture. More so, well, yeah, because people aren't as religious as they used to be, even though Americans claim to be some of the most religious cultures.
Yeah, I didn't realize how religious a country America was.
America is one of the most religious countries in the world, and there's no dictate on you have to be religious.
It's funny though.
Supposedly, we're more religious than the Iran, or is it Iran?
Where it's mandated.
Or is it Iran? I forget how it is I'm saying it to annoy them.
Iran.
No, isn't that the way you're supposed to say it? Iran. No, that's the way people say it. That just kind of sounds stupid.
That's how I say it.
Well, yeah, but you don't say Italian.
No. That's just to piss off an Italian to say that. Francais? No. I don't know. I guess it could be that. I guess it could be that you want to be accommodated yourself.
Or it could just be that you want to do something nice for someone and you just really don't think about everybody else that you're... It's one thing if you're on a street.
I get mad and then the person is like, why is that person mad at me right now?
You get mad?
Yes. I get mad at the person doing that. And I know this is something that I've done in the past.
Well,
before you say it.
I'm not saying that we need to be logical people. I know we're not.
But I've actually stopped doing that. Like I literally, like, I think about it now and I'm like, I'm not going to accommodate somebody doing something stupid on the road.
What you perceive as stupid, though.
Well, yeah. Isn't everything what I perceive?
Sure, but...
That I'm perceiving?
Right, but if there's somebody else, then it's what they're perceiving.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rehash too, but the whole idea of objectivity, I think, is also something that we need to either get on board with or just kind of not.
Well, I think it's almost impossible to be objective.
I'm sure. Hey, I think it might actually be impossible, but I don't think I'm not the type of person that lets a little thing like impossibility get in the way of trying. I fail a lot, so maybe I am the king of the dumbasses here, but that's always been my little personality quirk.
That sounds awful.
What? Always failing?
Or just like doing something knowing that it's fucking futile, right? That you're gonna fail.
I don't know for sure it's futile unless I never succeed.
Yeah. But I mean, like...
And I got a pretty good track record of not succeeding, and I still haven't quit, so I don't know.
If being objective is impossible, then why bother?
Because
no, serious, that's a serious question.
It's just like a road trip.
Okay.
The goal isn't the purpose.
It's getting there?
If I want... It's the journey, right? If I want to get somewhere, I love taking road trips. If I wanted to get to Boston, I would much rather take a car. But if the whole goal was to get to Boston, I wouldn't I hop a flight?
Right. Yeah, this is true.
We're all fumbling towards death. That's the ultimate goal of your life. If you take a why bother approach to stuff, then, then kind of everything becomes kind of moot, right?
Yeah. This is true. But I love to say that. I love to say the why bother thing, but I don't really mean it, I guess.
I don't know if you know what you mean or you don't mean, but I think you say it. I don't know why you say it either.
I should stop saying it.
That doesn't stop people from doing stupid stuff. Not that I'm equating your statement of why bother as something stupid, because I'm not.
That just makes me think of a little observation that we had yesterday. Seeing everybody in that line with all their masks on and everything, and it's just like, can't believe it.
Well, that's a whole nother issue.
It's related though, right?
No. People in the area that we live in wear masks because there are people with guns enforcing some dickweed's mandate.
But where we were, I don't think there's anybody enforcing it out there.
Well, it's just not the people with the guns.
It's everybody.
There's also social pressure.
A lot of social pressure. I saw I saw some graffiti that said "Burn your mask."
But let's say there were no people with guns enforcing something, or supposedly supposed to be enforcing something.
Yeah.
How much social pressure do you think people would bend under?
What do you mean? You mean would people wear the mask?
Well, not just that. Let's take a look at crime. Supposedly, murder rates and crime rates in places like New York, or places where there have been edicts, city council folks, but just the powers that be saying that the police need to be defunded. Which in and of itself is a weird thing to say, but crime has gone up.
Crime has gone up since they said defund the police.
And places have. I mean, there are police officers that have quit, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But I think there's probably just as much social pressure not to commit crimes. But nobody's going to be out there enforcing it.
So then people are just...
Well, no official people are going to be out there enforcing it. That's to go back to another thing that we talk about. That's my whole thing about words and action.
Okay.
If I stand somewhere and go, ready, aim, fire, those are just words. If I happen to be an officer at the head of a firing squad saying, ready, aim, fire, then those are words that you don't want to hear.
Indeed. Yeah. I had a dream like that.
That was actually a debate. The first during an orientation day in law school or something. I was talking about it. Well, he was using there were like words, blah blah this, words that, and one of the law professors was like, well, what if I were to stand up somewhere and say ready, aim, fire? Right. They're just words, and I'm like, yeah, they are just words. Mm-hmm. Like I said, sitting here, you and me, if I say ready, aim, fire,
I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And also, if I did that in the middle of the street, people would be all, that's a crazy person.
Uh-huh.
But if I had a uniform, and there were a bunch of other people with guns and uniforms,
mm-hmm.
and I drew my sword and said, ready, aim, fire,
Yep.
then, those are words those are words that no one wants to hear.
Indeed.
And that's the difference to me between words and action. Without enforcement or even the threat of enforcement, words are empty.
Which makes it really weird that people get so upset about words now, these days. Which makes me think that they're not really that upset about them.
Well, I think they are, but they are because the world is cushy.
But are they really upset?
Our world. Yeah, you betcha. You betcha they're upset. That's another topic that we can talk about also.
Man, we're just like...
Oh, of course, we could also forget the topic and probably...
I keep thinking of topics and then I don't make a note of them and then I forget them.
That's easy to do.
I need to carry it... Oh. Eh? And we're back.
Sorry about that. Matt had some violent diarrhea, so he had to...
I did not have violent diarrhea.
Okay.
We just had a really, really great interaction and I messed it up.
You forgot to record.
I forgot to hit unpause.
There's not an unpause button.
Now Dave's mad.
I'm not mad at all. I just think that people need to go into the recesses of their mind and think of a really great interaction between two people they don't know. Like maybe you're sitting at a restaurant, you overhear a conversation that's just really riveting.
Uh-huh.
That's what went on.
Oh yeah, it was it was extraordinarily intense and
came up with the answers to world peace, global warming.
Yeah.
The existence of Santa.
Man, it was like the answer to the life, the universe, and everything. And now I didn't freaking record it. So, sucks to be all you.
Well, it actually reminds me of a story. I was listening to an interview years and years ago of Groucho Marx's daughter.
Okay.
And you know the Marx Brothers, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And the Marx Brothers were in vaudeville before they were in the movies. And they were on stage and they had a bit, they had a routine. Her dad and her uncles. What were her uncles' names? Like Zeppo and Harpo or something?
Sounds right.
Well, anyway, she was like I guess she was at the end of elementary school, maybe in middle school or something. And every day she would go to the stage and watch the show.
Every day.
Every day. Just because, because she had protective Jewish parents or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
And she was telling the story about how she had seen it she's seen it so much that she was getting kind of bored with it.
Okay.
And I guess her uncles kind of knew, and one day, as she tells the story, and this is, forgive me because my memory's kind of foggy here, as an interview I heard about 20 some odd years ago. But she said one day she decided to skip. Not go to the stage to watch her dad and her uncles perform the same old skits that she'd been seeing every damn day for years and years and years. And she decided to go to a movie.
Oh.
Right? And when she came back, one of her uncles, it might have even been the one that was never talked, the guy with the goose horn.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of her uncles said, "Well, did you notice?" And she was all, "Notice what?" And so apparently on that day, her uncles decided that they were going to mix it up, and they all did each other's parts.
What?
So dad was the uncle that never talked, and the uncle that never talked was dad, or something. They just mixed it all up, right? And she was just like, and her uncles, they were all like, "Well, did you notice? Did you notice?" And she was all like, and so she didn't have the heart to tell them she didn't show up.
Well, you wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, because they were trying to do something. They were doing something special for their niece and their daughter, and and so they're all. So her dad and her uncle was like, "Yeah, see, I knew she wouldn't notice." and I think that was what was supposed to be her biggest regret in life.
Dude, that fucking story is it's a pretty good example of what happens in life. You miss the shit.
I thought that was just a sweet ass story.
Oh.
Even though she missed it. And
that just makes me think of that party that we didn't know in Vancouver when I was trying to be too cool for school.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of self-disclosure here. We were on a film in Vancouver.
Stood still. Or you were not going to say what the film was called?
I don't think it really mattered, but we were on a film and there was like a kickoff party or something, and me being the newbie, I was like, well, let's just go on time or something.
Right.
You know, something supposedly nobody ever does, go to a party on time, which I get, you know, okay. And so, you know, the Fonz over here is like, yeah, we should show up an hour late. And we did. And it turned out the main cast was all there on time.
And by the way, all the main cast are... Can we say who they are?
They're A-list talent. They're A-list talent.
Yeah, and both of them, they're all fucking people that I worship.
Really liked. And we would have had a captive audience for a good half hour to an hour just hanging out with these people.
And having good food. And
yeah.
Man, I am an idiot.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I am. That's like an idiot fucking move, man. I mean, how many times in life do you miss an opportunity just by virtue of...
See, I don't see it that way.
Stupid.
I'm more of a fate-centric type of person.
Come on. You think it was fate that we didn't go because I was like, let's go later?
No, if we were supposed to hang out with these people, we would have.
Okay.
See, I don't subscribe to the whole sliding doors theory because if I want to be intellectual about it, I really think it's all a matter of us wanting to have some sort of semblance of control over things, and it probably scares people to wit's end to think that there is no control, and I believe that there isn't. I believe really the only thing you can control is whether or not you're going to eat, and even then, you know.
That is a scary thought, though, that you're not in control.
You're not.
Well, I know this philosophically, but...
You know this intellectually, but you just can't come to grips with it because it would just destroy all kinds of worldviews that you have, and that's fine.
Yeah, man, I like the idea. I mean, I think you're probably right, but I can't quite embrace it.
Well, it's a scary thing to embrace. But think about it. If everybody was truly in control, then why would there be any poor people? Why would there be any crime? Why would there be any violence? Now, the counter-argument to that is because the people that perpetrate the violence want to be violent, or want to have crime, or want to have this. I mean, I think deep down, people only really want to have enough food to eat, some cash to spend, and a roof over their heads.
Well, and good company. You have to have good company.
Okay, fine.
You have to have good friends.
That list can go on ad nauseum.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do like a top 4,
again, that list can go ad nauseum because the top 4 will turn into top 4,000.
Yeah, I just think people are important.
Again, if I told you could only have 3 things, you would sit there and say, "I want to have people."
I want to have good friends.
But you can do that.
Well, yeah. Some people can't.
Yes, and they're people that usually have severe mental disorders.
I don't know that that's true or not. Maybe.
I mean, I know it seems like I'm contradicting myself, but look, I know there's no control. I just don't act like I think that.
Yeah, that's perplexing. Just don't add up. You don't add up, dude.
Well, there you have it. I don't add up.
And you missed a really good interaction, so I guess you really can't recapture lightning in a bottle, though.